Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 15 of the Houston Astros franchise here on MLB The Show 20. Today will be the second edition of the MLB Draft Preview, where we take a look at upcoming prospects in the draft, including their games at the college and high school level. Today we have 4 prospects, but unlike last time we looked at some of the top prospects in the class, we're going to look at potential maybe late round steals, maybe late round people who can bloom, just because the Astros don't have a first or second round pick in this upcoming draft. First guy on your screen we're going to take a look at is Andres German, guy at the University of Southern California. They're playing the Oregon State Beavers because there's also a reliever on the Beavers we want to take out later. But we're going to start off with Andres German. He's a USC starting pitcher, right-handed, 22 years old. He has a 4-pitch repertoire, which consists of a 4-seamer, a slider, a circle change, and a curveball. Interesting story about German is that he grew up idolizing Mark Prior. His dad was a big fan of Mark Prior, and he's kind of grown up as a fan of Mark Prior, both being from San Diego, California. He had plenty of scholarship offers coming out of high school, but chose to go to USC just because, he idolized Mark Prior so much. He's kind of molded his windup after him and whatnot. In terms of his scouting ability, he's kind of average across the board on a lot of things right now. He's been a pretty solid pitcher in college baseball, but not like one that's going to blow you away. But he doesn't really have a certain stat, so to speak, that blows you away. He is kind of home run prone, unfortunately. He kind of can give up some home runs, as you see right here. Here's a long ball to left field, perfect timing. And another thing is he is kind of injury risk. Some scouts are worried because he does use kind of the same windup as Prior, and we all know how Mark Prior's career ended up with a lot of surgeries and didn't really live up to the hype. So that can kind of push some prospects away. He's very high velocity, but also very high control. So that's good to see. It's good to see him have some high, speed, but able to control it. Here's the second guy we're going to take a look at in this game, Alex Cisneros, 6'2", 215 reliever from Oregon State. He's a right-handed thrower, but he currently bats lefty, something just kind of intriguing, even though relief pitchers don't really bat so often. He is 21 years old. We also have been to Oregon State before to take a look at Andy Rader, but this is just another player on their staff. Oregon State's played very well so far in the Pac-12, and he's kind of been a big reason. He has a cutter, a slider, a curveball, and a changeup, and this guy is a flame thrower. His cutter's listed at 96, but it's been seen to be even higher than that, as Oregon State goes on to lose this game to Southern Cal at home. We're going to take another quick look at the next game just so we can get another look at Cisneros. USC wins this one 5-2. More on Cisneros, he has all speed but no accuracy, however, so his control is not very good, which can lead to some home run balls. There's a deep shot to center field, doesn't quite leave the park, but he is prone to the long ball. But he does have a high K per 9, a lot of players who cannot catch up to that cutter because it's just so fast. Here's another batter, just laces one to right field, but thankfully he's on a line to the right fielder. So just a couple of pitchers. Oregon State wins this one though, 6-5. As we take a look at their cards, here's German. He's a 60 overall, currently 70 potential scouted. You can see him, he's kind of average at best at a lot of positions, but he does have some potential. And then look at Alex Cisneros, the reliever. Just another high velocity. Look at that velocity. He's got good break. Control's a little low though, so is his home run per 9, and that really won't increase. So a couple of players. Third out of our 4 prospects we're going to look at, his name is Cliff Levin, a left fielder from the University of North Carolina. He can play basically all the outfield positions. Currently bats lefty, throws righty. He is 19 years old. Very solid contact hitter, but he's not going to hit for power. He's just a corner outfielder who's got some speed to him, going to be able to steal some bases. So now if you're looking for a corner outfielder with some power, he's not your guy. It's pretty solid steal ability. He's not like blazing fast, but he can steal some bases. He will have his opportunities to swipe a couple bags. He has very average plate discipline. It can get better though, so it's not too much of a worry. He does have a chance to get better plate discipline, but he has great vision. Whereas discipline is not very good, he has great vision. He can see the ball, he can get the hits, he can line it up. He won't strike out a whole bunch. As Louisville goes on to win this game, as we see them playing Louisville 7-4. North Carolina kind of struggling this year. We're going to take another quick look at the next game from Levin. This time they're playing home against Florida State. Just more 11, just solid outfield prospect. I mean, like I said, good contact hitter, won't hit for power. That's why some scouts are a little low on him. Well, because his contact is good, his other abilities might not be up there. He also has some bunting abilities. We see him try to bunt right here. He's unfortunately not able to get on base by it, but he can lay down a couple bunts. Here he is playing the outfield. He has good defensive ability. His arm strength isn't the best though, so he's not going to be gunning down runners at the plate. Probably have to hit the cutoff man for a couple of those, just and whatnot. Just see him get fooled on a slider right here. Yes, he's going up against Chris Sale. There's that disclaimer again. I can't control all the roster moves when I put it into a franchise, so you might see a couple players in the majors on some of these teams, but just kind of disregard that. See, here's a good contact hit. This time, unfortunately, able to hit straight at the center fielder as UNC goes on to lose this game as well, 4-1 at home to Florida State. So UNC kind of just struggling this year. 11 though, he's gonna come out 19 years old. Maybe could do another year in college, but has decided just to come out. I was here to go look at his stats. He's pretty solid across the board. He has very solid potential, but it says he's kind of already living up to his potential, so we don't know how much more he will increase. And now we're going to go to our last game. This is actually a New York high school game, Mahopac High School playing Ketchum High. Indians versus the Indians. We're taking a look at this guy right here, Tommy Lawler. He is a first base prospect, 18 years old. He is a backup catcher, so that is also very intriguing. He can play first base and he can play catcher, so very interesting versatility right there. So being a catcher, he does throw right-handed, and we see him batting right-handed. And he is kind of a project player. He does have potential, but I think out of all four of these prospects, he might be the one that's going to spend a lot of time down in the minors. Probably could have benefited from going to college. He did have a couple college offers from places like Rutgers, and UMD sent him another one, a couple of Power 5 schools, but he decided to go pro out of high school to see where his, because he thinks his draft stock is high enough, so he's going to test his luck in the draft and see what happens. Average to below average across the board in most of his categories right now, so nothing really is standing out too much. Something going to college might have benefited. And another thing is he's not really speedy, but I guess he does have some speed for a catcher, but he has good stealing ability. You'll see in a second. It's kind of weird. While his speed isn't elite, his base running and stealing is sitting at about a 70 on the 20/80 scale. So very interesting to see out of a first base catcher prospect. And I like to get some good catcher depth in the organization. We do have Corey Lee, so this is somebody to look at if he is going to be a long-time catcher. But I think his long-term appeal is at first base where he's listed. Mahopac does end up winning this one in extra innings, 3-2, as we take a look at Lawler's cards. He just kind of averaging a bunch of things, 50 overall, 65 potential. He's going to need a lot of work in the minor leagues. But that's going to wrap it up for the four players that we saw today. Just a couple of late round prospects, and they won't necessarily be Astros, but with us not having a first or second round pick, it would be interesting to take a look at a couple of them. Next episode, we'll have a 3-game stand in Fenway, followed by a 4-game home stand against the Oakland Athletics. I'll see you guys in that episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below for more MLB content. And this is Mr. Rob, and I'm saying class is dismissed.